Hi, everybody. I'm Angel, and I'm a yummy vegan. Thank you so much for joining today's masterclass on the topic of raw vegan social dynamics. The disclaimer is no content in this presentation should ever be used as a substitute for direct medical advice from your doctor or other qualified clinician. So, my first piece of advice, my first suggestion when talking about social dynamics is actually a couple of points that I suggest before you even go to the social gathering. The first one is to be sure that you have a comfortable level of satiation by eating before you go, that you're feeling full enough so that even if there are no raw vegan options for you at the gathering, that you will have already, filled your tank up, so to speak, before you go. My second point, and this really is relevant not only to social gatherings, but just throughout the day, right? And that is maintaining an adequate level of hydration to avoid interpreting thirst to signify hunger, because it has been found that sometimes we are actually thirsty and we interpret that to mean that we are hungry. So by maintaining an adequate level of hydration, that will keep our bodies comfortable and not having those hunger pangs that come up sometimes. So let's dig a little bit deeper in some of the do's and don'ts, and let's start with the do's regarding social dynamics. So do have a clear and confident mindset about your personal reasons, your why, your intention for choosing this optimal lifestyle without trying to persuade others. Also, maintain a relaxed attitude, as this can go a long way in others bugging you a lot less. Have compassion and understand that people can feel threatened by you going raw vegan or plant-based, which might make them question their own choices. And also, if you feel comfortable, then you could eat a cooked vegan meal at the gathering if there are no raw vegan options, if that is what you wish to do. A couple of don'ts. I suggest that you don't expect everyone to understand and accept your raw vegan lifestyle. Also, don't argue with others about your raw vegan lifestyle. If someone appears to want to argue with you, I recommend making the decision not to argue with anyone about your choice. Now, if you're a guest at a social gathering, I recommend that you speak with the host in advance. If they don't already know about your current dietary preferences, be sure to tell them in advance so that you can figure out together what food will be served. You could also offer to bring one or two dishes that you can share at the gathering, if that is also what you would like to do. If you're the host, you could prepare, of course, various raw vegan dishes. These are just a few of the, easy options, I guess, that I'm just going to suggest here, like some really huge salads that are either sweet and savory, some fruit salads, raw vegan tacos, the no tuna salad, like with chickpeas, for example, guacamole, salsa, dehydrated crackers, cookies, cakes, etc. There's so many options out there. And this way, you can then showcase how beautifully yummy this raw vegan lifestyle is, and it gives your guests the chance to taste raw vegan foods that are super yummy as well. If you wish to kind of, add some new raw vegan dishes to your recipe repertoire, you could take some raw vegan preparation classes, either online, there are quite a few, or you may find one locally, wherever you are, in person. You could also use raw vegan recipes that are readily available in lots of raw vegan recipe books and blogs, videos, social media, etc., to make some, beautifully yummy raw vegan dishes. Now, a lot of times, when we have a different way of living, be it plant-based, cooked vegan, raw vegan, we sometimes get questions. So I think it's very important to be prepared to answer certain questions. One of the common questions is, how do you get your protein? And, you could explain that all plant foods have adequate amounts of clean protein. If you wanted to go further, you could also say, all plant foods have, adequate amounts of healthy fats and high energy carbohydrates. You might get another question such as, don't you miss eating meat and cheese? And you could either say that you do not miss eating meat or cheese if that is authentic to you, or you may say, yes, you do sometimes miss eating meat and cheese, and you found some yummy raw vegan meat and cheese options that you're really enjoying and exploring. Whatever the answers are that feel authentic and comfortable and real for you, those, of course, would be the most appropriate answers. You may get some more questions, such as why you're not eating what others are eating at the gathering, for example. And you can say something like, if this is authentic to you, you can say you're on a cleanse, that you may or may not, you may or may not want to say anything more about your cleanse, or you may choose to tell them why you're on your cleanse and the benefits that you're feeling. And if they persist, you could say that you'll be happy to tell them more about your cleanse later. And you can change the subject to talk about them, because a lot of us like to talk about ourselves, or the weather, or some other familiar topic. Now, when you receive an invitation to a social event, you do have the option of saying no. So you could politely decline an invitation to, to eat with others if you feel it will be overly stressful and the other attendees will give you a hard time. So you do have that option to politely say no. Another way of saying no would be to suggest an alternative outing. Maybe you could suggest, oh, instead of going to a restaurant, maybe we could go to a museum, an art gallery, a theatrical performance, go hiking, take a stroll in a park or a botanical garden, whatever feels natural and comfortable for you. You can, suggest an alternative outing or option. Regardless of if we're going to a social gathering or not, but of course it does help when we are with others, it's very, very important for us to be healthy and happy along this beautiful raw vegan journey. And by being a shiny example of a healthy and happy vegan or raw vegan or a plant-based eater is really what sways non-vegans the most. It's like, we are the lighthouse. We are a shining example, and they, they're attracted to us. They gravitate towards us. People are watching us, just as we're watching others. And so it's very important to be a happy and healthy example. Also, you can have them try your delicious vegan or raw vegan food. You can hand out recipes if you're asked for them. You can list all the delicious meals that you can have as a vegan or a raw vegan. And so that would usually also be a really good idea. Now, regardless of whether you are in your hometown or if you're traveling to another city, another country, these are some of my suggestions. I rely on supermarkets, or if you have like a cooperative supermarket, again, not only in my where I'm living in my hometown, but also when I'm traveling, I go to supermarkets and I buy plant foods from there, and I keep them with me in my hotel room or wherever I'm staying. A farmer's market is also a good idea for fresh produce. A juice bar, smoothie bar. I have also relied heavily on juice bars and smoothie bars when I've traveled, because I know that I can get raw, cold pressed juices, freshly made smoothies. Salad bars also have been very helpful because I know that I can get raw plant foods in those spaces. Also, for air travel, you could take your own raw vegan meal on the plane, or you can order a raw vegan meal through the airline if it's available, or you may choose to order a cooked vegan meal for your trip. Some more suggestions. Again, if you're in your local hometown or you're traveling, you can look at the menu online before you go, and then you can decide and choose which raw vegan options you like to enjoy, at that particular restaurant. You can also use some apps and websites called Happy Cow and A Billion, and they have listings of plant-based vegan options. Sometimes they have raw vegan options listed as well for the restaurants. You could also call a restaurant beforehand and ask if they can make a raw vegan meal for you. And you may need to explain what that means to them, but that's always an option as well. Or when you get to the restaurant, you can just ask them for a, a, um, a dish that only has like raw, plant foods in it. Um, this is a suggestion that I have seen others share that they have done, and that is that you could take your own raw vegan dressing to a restaurant. Put it maybe in a little glass container, and that way you can add it to your raw vegan salad that you order there at the restaurant. Now, in social settings, it's very important to show appreciation. So it's important for us to show that we appreciate the efforts that others are making to accommodate our raw vegan lifestyle. It's also really nice to say an extra special thank you to the host, compliment the chef. You could even take a second helping of a vegan or raw vegan meal. The food that they prepared, and this all creates a loving, happy environment and an atmosphere of appreciation. And it also encourages others to offer vegan or raw vegan food again, for other gatherings. And it creates a beautiful harmony of, appreciation and loving kindness between everyone involved. For social dynamics, I found that communities are super helpful. There's several Facebook groups that are very, very helpful, where you can post, certain challenges that you're having. You could even chime in and support others who are having some other challenges, or you can just share what happened at a particular gathering that you went to, or even in your personal life. And these are just a few options here for you regarding Facebook groups. Um, you could just put these titles in the search bar, such as Raw Vegan What's for Dinner, Raw Vegan and Healing, Ultimate Raw Vegan Fruitarian Healing, and there are others as well. So in the search bar on Facebook, for example, you could type in raw vegan and search under groups, and choose from there. There are also some in-person communities in some cities. So you can search your local city for a raw vegan group as well. Or you could create a new community, your own new group. And so that is always a beautiful option that you could create, either on Facebook or Meetup or some other, preferred portal that you like. Festivals are a great place to build community as well. And there are a couple that are, I guess, fairly popular around the world. These are just two that I'll mention: the Woodstock Fruit Festival and the UK Fruit Fest. So you can, search for those online. Many, many cities and countries have their own local fruit festivals, and those are beautiful spaces as well to gather with other raw vegans, or not even only raw vegans. They're vegans, they're plant-based eaters, they're plant-based curious people, and so yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful way to participate in communities. So I really hope that this information was helpful for you and inspiring. Please let me know in the comments. I would super love to hear your thoughts. And I wish you bon appetit along your beautifully yummy journey. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to email me. My email address is ayummyvegan@gmail.com, or on Instagram you can find me ayummyvegan. So thank you so much for tuning in today. I wish you a beautifully yummy day and best wishes. And if you'd like to find out more about me, you can go over to my website, ayummyveganlifestyle.com. And I just thank you so much for tuning in today, and take good care, everybody. Bye bye.